All right, so if you thought public schools in the United States were going woke, well, watch this video of a high school teacher in Ontario, Canada. The teacher seen wearing an extremely prominent prosthetic bust began identifying as a woman last year and as a manufacturing technology instructor. Now, people on Twitter noted that in some of the other videos and pictures online, the kids in class, this isn't a classroom, looked kind of uncomfortable. She or they also looks quite uncomfortable with that prosthetic breast. But all I'm going to say is my mom used to tell me, Katrina, whatever you're thinking is written all over your face. So I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to leave it right there. All right, and stay with us. The second hour of American Agenda starts right now. Well, welcome to the second hour of American Agenda. I'm Katrina Zish. Bob Sellers is off today. Okay, it's official. Veteran New York Judge Raymond Dearie will serve as special master to review documents seized by the FBI following their raid on former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. Now, Dearie is tasked with deciding if any of the documents will be off limits in future legal proceedings, but he must present his findings by November. Doesn't seem like everyone is happy with Judge Eileen Cannon's decision to allow a special master in the first place. Just listen to one political commentator on CNN. Take a listen.
That is a major blow to the Justice Department, don't you think?
Yeah, it's atrocious, I think, is not too strong a word. The government, the official authority, marks them classified. She adopted his uncertainty and said, well, I'd really like a third person to look at them to say if they're classified. Bizarre and really incoherent.
All right, here to weigh in on this news, let's bring in constitutional law attorney Amir Benno and distinguished university professor at Touro College, Thane Rosenbaum. Thanks for both of you for joining us today, or me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. All right.
Always for you, Katrina.
Thank you, Thane. All right, Amir, straight off the bat here, I want to talk about that kind of sound that we shared from CNN. Don Lemon actually saying, wow, this is a major blow to the DOJ. Is it?
Well, it is. And why that commentator was so wrong is Eileen Cannon, Judge Cannon said in her decision, that not to stay her earlier decision. She said, we don't give blind trust to the DOJ. That's not even-handed administration of justice, is that we just trust what they say. So there is a legal issue as to whether some of these documents are classified or whether the classifications that were originally imposed on them have been withdrawn, if they've been declassified. That is a legal determination. That is proper for a court to decide. So therefore, we shouldn't be trusting the DOJ, and it was eminently proper for Judge Cannon to give this body of material over to the special master to make those rulings, or at least the recommendations as to what those rulings should be.
Thane, your thoughts?
Well, as you know, I think Amir is always right, but let me add on to that. It's even worse than what Amir just said, because from the Justice Department's perspective, it seems like Judge Cannon has rejected many of the presumptions that the Justice Department keeps repeating on CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times, which is this: President Trump is not an ordinary person, right? He is in a league of his own. He has a possessory interest in these documents because they were created during his presidency. The Justice Department makes it sound like he's a common criminal who ran into the White House and stole documents. These documents were created when he was the president during his presidency, and as Amir said, has the authority to actually declassify them. So she's saying not an ordinary person, has a possessory interest. She's saying even the 3 crimes that are attributed to him, they may not be crimes for a president, right? They might be crimes to have this illegally retained documents if you are a member of the press, or if you're a low-level employee of the government, or citizens like the Rosenbergs. But again, this is not, the Justice Department keeps saying, we are treating him like any other person. And she finds this very dubious. And lastly, one last point, she just rejects the idea that the executive privilege does not apply to him, which is devastating to the Justice Department. because she's saying, well, wait a minute, when he was the president, these were very important documents. And by the way, she's not even excluding the classified documents, meaning that she's saying even the classified documents, he may still have a possessory interest in retaining them in his home until such time as he and the National Archives figure out when he has to give them back. That it's the idea that it's at Mar-a-Lago is itself the possession, not a major crime. And in fact, some of the documents may be excluded due to an executive privilege, even though he's no longer the president.
Interesting, because, you know, Amir, what we're hearing from the DOJ and you know, mainstream media is that, well, even though he was a president, he didn't have authority to declassify anything that would have been classified information, even as the president. It seems like there might be, I don't know, rules or so-called laws sort of being referenced or made up as we go. Set me straight here.
No, look, that is what they're arguing. But they're mistaken because, as Thane correctly pointed out, these are legal questions. Whether he could declassify them, he certainly had the power to under the Egan case, which is a Supreme Court case, and the Justice Department concedes that. But so there are legal questions as to whether or not these documents are classified. That's the first premise that the DOJ put forth that she rejected, that these are all classified records. They may not be. The second premise was, as Thane correctly pointed out, that the president or the former president can never assert executive privilege at all. And therefore that they should be allowed to see these things. They didn't even look through these documents with an eye towards executive privilege. She says that's a legal question that needs to be sorted out. And so both of those rejections of the DOJ's premises are a real blow to their arguments here, because now you have a third party who's going to ultimately make the decision on this, and it may not go in the DOJ's favor. And if it turned out that they looked at documents that they had no power or right to look at, that could sink any criminal case that they would possibly be trying to bring against President Trump.
Okay, so all eyes on Raymond Dearie, the special master. Of course, we'll be following it. Amir Benno, Thane Rosenbaum, thanks for your expert insights.
Thank you, Katrina.
Thank you.